Hey guys, so I have a quick few minutes between lessons, so I figured I'd shoot a video here. Um, in one of my lessons today, I came across there was a student that we were working on a piece of music and part of a song, and he was trying to play it and try to play it at speed, and it's just a mess, just all kinds of mistakes. So I was like, okay, so it's too fast. We gotta slow it down. So kept slowing it down little by little, and then he was able to play it, but I kind of noticed it was still kind of sound stiff, and I see like the concentration levels all there, like constantly on it, and his whole body is actually stiff also. So explained to him is like, yeah, that you still need to slow it down. You're not at that point yet where you feel comfortable with it. And he's like, well, I can play it perfectly fine. Why can't I just keep it at this speed? And I had to explain to him, as I'm going to explain here, is even if you can play something great, it sounds pretty good. But if you are all stiff, for one, it's not going to sound as smooth. And number two, if you have to focus and concentrate on really intensely, well, that's not good, because what if you make a mistake? If you're in that level where you have to concentrate on it really, really intensely, then you're not at that level of getting like close to mastery yet. So it's good to push yourself every once in a while and get into that area. But the key to getting stuff down well, and so it will last, is to get it to where you're able to play a piece of music, a part of a song or whatever, or a lead lick, to where you can play it nice and comfortably. And that sometimes means that you got to slow it way, way down at first. It doesn't matter, if it's really, 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 really slow. You gotta find that spot where you can play through it and you feel pretty comfortable with it. You don't have to concentrate as intensely. And then what you can do is slowly, once you're at that speed, and you're feeling pretty good, then you can slowly beef it up just a little bit, and then just a little bit. And that, even though it seems like a long process, that's the quickest way to get it to where you're going to be able to play at that, master it and play it at that top level and be able to feel comfortable. Because again, you need to be at that point where if you're playing something and you make a mistake, it doesn't fall apart. You just kind of keep going. And that's when you're feeling more comfortable with something. Again, if you're all intense and really focused on it and you mess up, that can totally blow everything. So that's what we're going to talk about here. So I'm going to bring the camera down and we're going to go ahead and take a look. Okay, so let's take something like, say, Crazy Train. So here's the riff. So there's Crazy Train. That's what it's supposed to sound like. But if you're sitting there and you're all tense and you're concentrating on it a lot, even if you're able to play it, you see when I play that, it's, I'm playing the notes, but it's kind of like not really sound smooth and accurate, and, it's in the general area, but it's just too much concentration. So what you need to do is you need to bring it back down to where, you're feeling, loose, you're feeling comfortable, and you can play the stuff pretty accurately. So that may be, it could be maybe at this speed. Oh, messed up. Could be that, or it could be even slower. You gotta find that little spot where you can play it and it sounds pretty good and you feel comfortable playing it. You know, you're not so intensely concentrated on it. You can play it, and yeah, maybe you have to, think about it, but you're not so concentrated on it where if you make one mistake, it falls apart. You gotta feel pretty comfortable. You know, your fingers know what to do, whether it's the left hand fingers or your right hand. You know, they're hitting everything accurately. What happens a lot of times is, you start playing fast, even if it sounds okay here. The pickings maybe is not accurate. You're not hitting the correct downstrokes or upstrokes or whatever. Your fingers are just barely making it there. And that's really not where you want to be. You need to make sure you feel nice and comfortable. So find that spot where you can play it nice and slow and feel comfortable. Yes, so that's what you really need to make sure you do. So bring the camera back up for a second. So it's really important that you do that, because if you just keep going at that and you're focused on it, on playing it, try to play it, you want to get it done, and playing it too fast, then it's just gonna fall apart. You're gonna be making mistakes, and a good key to know that you're at the right speed is if you can play it, it sounds good, accurate, you feel relaxed, and you can be consistent. You can play the riff or lick over and over again consistently without making mistakes. If you are making mistakes, you're going too fast, and you gotta slow it down. And it's really getting to that level where you feel loose. And it's kind of hard sometimes to hit that too, because you want to control everything, but you got to get to where you're playing something loose. And that's really the key to everything. When you see Joe Satriani, or when they were around, Eddie Van Halen, Randy Rhoads, they all played very fluently and seemed effortlessly. And that's because it was effortless. I can't speak here. And yeah, they practiced and stuck at that level, and slowly sped it up. And that's the key to getting something down, mastering something, and be able to get to that level where you can play and you don't really have to be struggling all the time. If not, if you skip that step and you keep trying to push it too much, then you're going to be struggling and wondering, why is it I play it a couple times and then all of a sudden I make a mistake. Well, that's because, you're trying to push it too much. Now, one more thing before I wrap this up. You don't want to stick in that very comfortable area constantly. All right, can play it really slow. It feels really good, and then stay at that level. That's why working at it with a metronome is really good. You want to push it a little bit. Once you feel comfortable, then you want to push it up just a tiny bit. That's why metronome is good, because you can put it up, as low as 1 beat per minute. If you just kind of wing it, or you take big chunks, then it's just going to be too big. You're going to be going from where you're comfortable to where you're struggling, and maybe you can play it okay, but you're in that tense state again. So that's why it's good to use a metronome, and then you can just put it up 1 or 2 beats per minute. And it's a little harder. Maybe for the time being, you gotta think, concentrate a little bit more, but it's just up a tiny bit, and you're gonna be okay. And then within pretty quickly, you should feel pretty comfortable at that level, and then you can just bring it up a tiny bit more, and that's the key to it. So that's basically the key to mastery, is making sure you play things slow enough to where you don't have to concentrate so intensely, And the most important thing is that you're able to play whatever you're playing while you're loose and you're more relaxed. Once you're tensed up, you're playing too fast. So there we go. A tidbit for today. If you have any questions or anything, let me know. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next one.